I worked multiple jobs to put myself through college while my dad spent everything on my sister, and now he wants my house because she failed out of university. I, 30F, need to provide some background before getting to the current situation. My sister Eva, 26F, has always been my father's, 58M, favorite child, though growing up he tried to hide it. Our mother passed away when I was 12 and Eva was 8, and after that, the favoritism became more obvious. I think Eva reminded him of our mom, which is why he always treated her differently. Growing up, every achievement of mine was measured against Eva's potential. If I got straight A's, my father would say that's nice, but imagine what Eva could do with her talents. If I won a competition, he'd say Eva would have gotten first place. It was always about Eva's hypothetical success rather than my actual achievements. I learned to live with this dynamic and focused on my studies, hoping that good grades would finally make my father proud. I graduated high school with a 4.0 GPA and got accepted into several prestigious universities, including my dream school. I was ecstatic, thinking my hard work had finally paid off. That's when everything fell apart. I still remember sitting at our kitchen table, acceptance letters spread out in front of me, when my father dropped the bomb. He said he had been saving for college, but he could only afford to send one of us to university. He had decided it would be Eva because she was more ambitious and wanted to study abroad. I tried to reason with him. I showed him my scholarships that would cover part of the tuition. I offered to work part-time during college to help with expenses. I even suggested that we both go to state schools instead of expensive private universities. But he shut down every suggestion. He had decided that Eva would study in London, and that was that. His exact words were, "Eva has always dreamed of studying abroad. You're more practical, you can easily get a job here and take some community college classes if you want. Eva needs this opportunity more than you do." When I started crying, he told me to stop being dramatic and think about what's best for the family. I was devastated. I had worked so hard, done everything right, and it meant nothing. My aunt, mom's sister, was furious when she found out and offered to help, but she was struggling financially herself after a divorce. She could only offer moral support, which I appreciated but couldn't pay tuition with. I refused to give up on my education. I got a full-time job at a local supermarket and took evening classes at community college. I worked weekends as a waitress and spent my lunch breaks studying. Sometimes I was so exhausted I fell asleep over my textbooks, but I kept going. During this time, my father was completely focused on Eva's future. He bought her expensive SAT prep courses, hired tutors, and even sent her to summer programs abroad to prepare her for London. Meanwhile, I was living on ramen noodles and energy drinks, trying to balance work and studies. It took me 6 years to complete my computer science degree. 6 years of working multiple jobs, taking classes when I could afford them, and slowly accumulating credits. My father attended exactly 0 of my classes or graduation ceremony because he was busy helping Eva prepare for her grand adventure in London. When Eva turned 18, my father spent nearly all his savings on her education. He took out loans, remortgaged the house, and even cashed out his retirement accounts. Everyone told him he was being financially irresponsible, but he wouldn't listen. He kept saying that Eva was special and deserved the best education money could buy. I focused on my career after graduation and worked my way up in tech. I lived frugally, saved aggressively, and finally bought my own house last year. It's not a mansion, but it's mine, paid for with my own hard work. I did all this while my father bragged to everyone about how his younger daughter was getting a world-class education in London. Last month, Eva suddenly showed up at our father's house. She claimed she had to leave university due to mental health issues and needed time to find herself. But through some social media digging and messages from her old roommate, I discovered the truth. Eva had spent 4 years partying, failing classes, and getting into trouble. She was actually asked to leave the university due to poor academic performance and inappropriate behavior at student events. Yesterday, my father and Eva showed up at my house unannounced. At first, they asked if Eva could move in with me since I have a spare bedroom. When I refused, my father suggested that I should sign over my house to Eva because she needs stability to recover. He said that since I'm doing well in my career, I could easily buy another house, while Eva needs help getting back on her feet. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The man who refused to help me with college was now asking me to give away my house to his golden child who had wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars partying in London. I started laughing, which made him angry. He said I was being selfish and that as the older sister, I had a responsibility to help Eva. Eva just stood there crying about how hard her life has been and how she needs family support. I reminded them both how I had struggled through college without any support from my father. I pointed out that Eva's current situation was entirely of her own making. My father then had the audacity to say that my mother would have wanted me to help my sister. I lost it at that point. I told them both to get out of my house and never come back. I told my father that he had no right to use my mother's memory to manipulate me, especially since he had failed to support both his daughters equally like she would have wanted. They've been bombarding me with calls and messages since then. My father has involved our extended family, and most relatives are siding with them, saying I should help my sister because family comes first. Only my aunt understands my position and supports my decision. I've blocked their numbers, but they keep trying to reach me through other family members. I'm not backing down on this, but the constant guilt tripping from relatives is getting exhausting. Some of them are saying I'm bitter about the past and taking revenge on Eva. They don't understand that this isn't about revenge, it's about refusing to enable their entitled behavior. I know I'm not wrong here, but the constant emotional manipulation from my family is starting to wear me down. Still, I refuse to give up my house or let Eva move in. I work too hard for what I have to just hand it over to someone who has never worked for anything in her life.